Hi folks, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm an American living in Germany, and about 6 years ago I got hit with a rare brain tumor called an acoustic neuroma. And today I just want to do an acoustic neuroma update. Big shout out to my returning viewers, subscribers, and members. I appreciate all of your support. As you all know, if you've been paying attention to my videos, I've had a lot going on recently. Unfortunately, in regards to my moving and avoiding homelessness, I don't have a big update yet, but I do appreciate all of the helpful comments and tips that a lot of you left me on that last video. I'm working through everything, I got people helping me, and I hope to have an update on that soon. But today we're talking about the stupid tumor I had in my head. Left side here, 2018 it was found, and then ejected from my head. And long story short, after I woke up from that operation, I felt 10 times worse than before I went in for the operation. And over these last 6 years, I've been trying to get answers as to why. As soon as I was able to stand up, I was doing balance training. I got myself into physical therapy. I even tried to go back to my job after my operation. I refused for many years to accept my disabilities, but they just kept slapping me in the face or the back or the hip or the foot. Pretty much everything hurts right now. Because for 6 years, I'm walking around like a drunk lady. Like, it's subtle, you know, some days are better than others, but pretty much every day I am gonna bang my elbow, bang my hand, trip over my feet. Worst case scenario, you know, fall down. That happened to me trying to take a bus. I don't take a bus anymore. But yeah, you see what I'm getting at? 6 years long, I've been trying to fight to get myself, like, fitter. And while all progress I've made since this tumor was removed from me is very slow going, and I admit I lack in the patience department. But I've always been somebody, like, kind of really in touch with my body. Like, I can feel when something's not right. And pretty much every time I look in to try to find out why I still feel and look like and act like and walk like a drunk lady 6 years after a brain tumor, it was like every time I went to a doctor, I would just hear, "Ms. Armstrong, you had a big tumor. It takes a long time to heal." And that shit was pissing me off. I wanted to know, like, what exactly is damaged in there and why do I still feel this way? But eventually, I gave up on finding that out just because I felt so blown off and shoved around by so many doctors. And I mean, I even went to a clinic that never sent the doctor's reports or the CTs and to give me the answers as to, you know, what exactly is damaged. I know my balance organ is damaged, but throughout the years, I have doctors telling me, your brain will learn to work with that with enough training. Bitch, I've been doing balance training when I was in the hospital, still with a big maxi pad on my head after they cracked my skull open. I was watching videos sent to me from a friend that is in physical therapy, and I was watching, and like I said earlier in this video, as soon as I was able to move, I was trying to do balance exercises. I've been trying to not be, like, lazy. The only times I'm lazy is because I'm freaking exhausted. Feeling dizzy all the time makes you exhausted. But also, staying on point here for today, when you walk around like a drunk person, like a person that had maybe like 4 or 5 beers, you know, you can walk, but just every once in a while, whoopsie is gonna happen. After doing this for so long, I'm really in pain. Like, I feel like all of my joints hurt, my hips hurt. I've now been told I've got arthrose in my hip. Instead of getting help offered for that, I had a doctor that tried to talk me into going to him every week and paying him 50 euros cash to get a shot of some liquid that's super from Switzerland. And so that bone doctor seemed, I don't know, a little too American style for my flavor. So I found another orthopedic doctor here in my neighborhood, and so that's where we are. Recently I decided I need to get some help because I'm in pain. The back, the hips, even the shoulders, joints, just everything. Is it because I bang it against the wall? Is it because I'm walking funny? It's probably all of these things, but the fact of the matter is, what I was thinking, ladies and gentlemen and everybody around the world or whoever's watching this shit, what I was thinking was perhaps perhaps I need a mobility device. Maybe a little assistance so that I could have a bit of a life. Because right now my life is I go to the supermarket and I come back and I feel like I ran a marathon, and halfway through that marathon I got hit by a truck, but then I got back up, and then I ran across the beach. You ever walk on a beach for a whole day? You know your thighs and your legs hurt? Yeah, this is me just when I go to the damn supermarket. So what I went recently to my doctor for was just looking for a little help. So I could be more mobile, so I could get around without constantly ending up in pain and in bed then for 2 days because I walked to a park or a supermarket. So in my quest to do this, the GP, the Hausarzt here in Germany, he sends me to the bone doctor. I get this first bone doctor who totally feels like a scammer. Ironically, he told me he was in Philadelphia. It seems he learned a lot there about how to get money out of patients instead of, helping them feel better first. So instead of that, I went back to my GP and I explained to him my goal here, that perhaps I need some sort of mobility device, and they're hesitant about this because they're afraid I'll rely on it and then my condition will worsen. I should do physical therapy. At that point I informed him I want to go to a different bone doctor. I want to get a second opinion, but also from somebody that I think listened to me and I can trust what they say and is not just trying to inject me with something from Switzerland for 50 euros. What the fuck was that? So I found this great place right around the corner from me, and I went there, and even cooler, the doctor that was in there not only was professional, took the time to understand my situation, but he also preferred speaking English with me. I got to speak to him. I speak German fine, if you're a new viewer here. I've lived here for 20 years. I even worked in sales, so I can't just talk in German. I can also sell in German. I think my German's good enough. But this guy allowed me to talk to him in plain English, and he understood everything. And I'm telling him what hurts, and he checks my bones, lays me down, bends my legs, bends my arms, has me do some different things, and he says to me he thinks this is damage to my cerebellum, and he wants me to go to a neurologist. At that point I roll my eyes and I look at him and I'm like, I've fired, I think, almost every neurologist in this city. And then he throws a name at me, and I had to stop and think for a minute. He asks if I went to this guy, and I had to think, and I said, you know what? I don't think I went to that guy. I didn't tell him this part. I went to this guy's office. I didn't make it past his receptionists. They were just nasty, unpleasant human beings, and I was in there on a hot day, feeling dizzy, leaning on their desk, feeling like hell, half my face hanging, my eye wouldn't shut, I was drooling, and the lady was acting like I was disturbing her because I wanted to make an appointment. After some nasty words and tone and facial expressions from her, I looked at her and I said, this is how you treat your patients. I don't need to come here. And I turned around and walked out. So I didn't tell the bone doctor this. So he insisted I needed to go this week to a neurologist and talk to him about possible damage on my cerebellum. So that appointment was today. And today when I walked in, there was a completely different experience. He had a different young lady sitting at the front desk, and she was completely pleasant and nice. I brought with me all of my paperwork. I brought MRIs in German, CTs, all of the data, everything I've had collected since this tumor got found and then removed, and other little visits and stuff that I've had. I took everything to him. And this neurologist, he took his time and he checked everything. He had me do a couple different balance tests, the typical walking, but also laying and moving and watching what happens with my eyes. Really interesting for me. He did this one test, I'm sure a lot of you watching this video have had it for a variety of reasons, where they take the finger and they have you go like this. And he did one, and it was really clear to me that every time the finger went like this, I couldn't hold a real grip on it on the left. Like when it went to the left, I had no problem holding a grip on it, but when it would go to the right, there was this little pull. I believe this is called a nystagmus. This is when your eyeballs will just involuntarily jump up. It's subtle, but lots of people that have vertigo have this. I was told this by several doctors when they would do this eye test, that they see a little jump in my eyes. But my concern is, I've also read that that's also something you see by people that have damage on their cerebellum, so lesions or something like that. And Not so long ago, I finally found an ear, nose, and throat doctor who seemed to really understand my situation and had other patients that also had this rare brain tumor I had. So I had a good conversation with her, and she was the first doctor, after all these years, an ear, nose, and throat doctor. It's generally the ear, nose, and throat doctor that find the kind of tumor I had. She sat me down and looked at me and she said that through tumor/operation, we're not laying blame on anybody here, not just my balance organ, my hearing, all of the things in my ear were destroyed, but, things back here got damaged. This tumor was touching on my cerebellum, and it had built itself around all of the nerves here, everything on this side, it had built itself around. After operation, the doctor estimated that thing had been in there a long time. He said like maybe 10 years. So what I'm getting at is what that ear, nose, and throat doctor said to me was kind of repeated me today by this neurologist. So the ear, nose, and throat doctor had said to me, Miss Armstrong, not just your hearing and balance organ were damaged, also your brain was touched. And we spoke about how, that tumor was in there taking up space for a long time, what it wasn't built around, it was denting. It was making itself nice and cozy in there and making a space for it. And today at the neurologist, he repeated all of this again, that that your balance organ is destroyed, and eventually the brain will learn how to work with that. Yeah, I've been hearing that for 6 years, but okay. I looked at him without words. I think he knew my opinion on that. So he followed up with, while he's looking through MRTs of my brain and the cerebellum specifically, he said he doesn't see like big damage, nothing, and nothing is documented on the report that comes with the MRT. So he too said, similar to what my ear, nose, and throat said, is, it's possible that it was in there so long that it kind of like, it moved everything around and made spaces, it dented, like. But even as I'm saying this, I feel like, I don't know. Is it I'm not getting the answer I want, or I'm not getting the answer? But, I have to believe him if he says he doesn't see damage on my cerebellum. Although there is a part of me that just wonders, could I get a specific MRT done just on the cerebellum? I don't know. I'm so tired. I'm really so tired of trying to go to these appointments and convince people that I feel as horrible as I feel. But not just doctors. It's also trying to get a care level and help from my health insurance, trying to get a mobility mark on my disability card. All of these things are just so complicated and so difficult, and I am constantly tired and in pain. The neurologist also said something I hate hearing at these appointments, because I feel like it's an easy out for a doctor, that I battle with depression. But also anxiety, PTSD, anxiety disorders. But the depression plays a big role, he says. I had another neurologist say this to me. That other neurologist, he tried to literally just push everything onto my depression, which makes me angry, because it makes me feel like they think I'm making up. That I feel like my skull is crushing my brain, that I feel pressure in there, that sometimes I feel like I'm wearing a helmet, that, I'm like a drunk lady walking around, stumbling into shit. I'm so sick of this battle of feeling like I have to constantly convince people. But I'm gonna attempt this. I'm gonna attempt again to go do physical therapy. I guess if I'm saying it here, I have to now. I always feel like one factor these doctors really just don't get is that I am very ADHD, very attention deficit, hyperactive, and so that's also probably part of the reason I'm injuring myself. I'm trying very consciously to slow down so I don't bump and walk into stuff, but I feel like often they're telling me to do these physical therapy. I've gone to all of the physical therapy for balance training. I know what they're going to do with me. I'm going to go there for 15, 20 minutes, and I'm going to do a lot of balance exercises. You can imagine walking on things, and standing. And I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay for a bus ticket. And I'm probably going to get, last time I did it, my insurance didn't cover all of it, and I got a bill. And right now, I'm on a very tight budget that doesn't make it every month. So depending on what this costs could even be a freaking factor if I do it. It's like I almost feel like I have to do this. I have to go and injure myself so they take me seriously. Or maybe I won't injure myself. Maybe finally, after 6 years and lots of balance training, maybe finally now, this will be the one that makes my brain go, boop, you're not drunk anymore. Armstrong can be sporty again. But I'm doubtful, because even when I talk with passion and energy, you don't see it. But I'm sitting here and my world's going like this. Fucking sick of it. So that's where we are. We're 6 years out from acoustic neuroma being removed from the left side of my head. Every time I go to doctors, I feel passed around a lot. I feel passed around from the ear, nose, and throat to the neurologist, to go do sport, to go to the bone doctor. And here I am again, bopping around from the doctors. I go to these appointments. My day's over after that. I'm exhausted. I'm in pain. I'm going to bed now. And while I'm busy bopping around all these different appointments, these doctors, and getting papers, and they're taking home fat checks, I'm in pain. We're all ignoring that I'm in pain. I've got some basic pain pills, and I should do sport. It's just really tough for me to figure out. Like, I know, it's going to sound so silly maybe to some of you that don't deal with any kind of a disability, but like, I know on a day that I'm going to have to go to physical therapy, I'm going to have to make sure, for example, the day before, that I clean my litter box, I do my grocery shopping, and hopefully I'm capable of doing both of those in that day without too badly injuring myself or making myself feel exhausted, as I always do, because when you're moving around and you're like on a boat, it's exhausting. But like, I feel like they don't really get that I feel like I can't do much, and I'm going to go do this physical therapy, and it's going to mean I have less of a life for myself. I have no life. I can't make plans. I make plans, I cancel them because I'm exhausted or I'm in pain. And so they're adding more plans. Oh, I'm probably overthinking all of this. I'm overthinking all of it. I know I am. Listen, but I wanted to give an update here. I haven't done an acoustic neuroma update in a long time. In regards to my face, you can all see this eyebrow that still doesn't want to do anything. But there's been a lot of improvement. This mouth, it's not perfect, but I can definitely move it more. I can keep it shut so I'm not drooling so much. This eye, I can close it when I want. It's still not 100% automatically going with this eye, but much better than after the operation. Still some numb places. Talked about that with the doctor today. There's still some numb spots in my head here where they opened it, and even in my face. But like, I can feel, it was interesting comparing it. He was tapping here and tapping here. I can feel this, but it was only once he was doing them at the same time I realized I feel it, but it doesn't feel the same as when I tap here. It's a different sensation. So I still got nerves all effed up. I still also have nerves in my neck that are reacting funky once in a while, and it's kind of like a stinging feeling, but that's not so bad, and that's not so often. My migraines are staying pretty moderate. Like, I want to say maybe, I know in a month I'm going to have one or two, which is so much better, again, than how it was after, for like a year after that operation. I was having migraines pretty often. But yeah, I've learned to live with a lot of this. I feel I'm new to the disabled thing, yeah? Granted, I've been, broken for 6 years, but I tried not to accept being disabled for the first couple of years, and now I've gone all in. I'm trying to accept it, but part of accepting it is understanding it. I'm trying to understand why I feel the way I feel, why I'm exhausted constantly, why I'm dizzy, why everything hurts. And I'd like a little help, but this help it's really hard to get. But even as much as I'm bitching, I do feel important that I throw in the sentence here towards the end that I am still really thankful that I'm here in Germany and not in the country I'm from, America. But I also feel like I have a right to complain about this shit because I have to deal with it, I'm here, I have to deal with it. I think, I talk to other Germans. I'm not the only one that thinks this medical system it's like falling apart, I feel like they've got people working too much and being paid too less in that system, and so that's why you'll run into a lot of unhappy and miserable people. I know I don't ever want to stay in a German hospital again. I fear that that's going to happen to me again because of the miserable people I've met in them. But I am not stupid, and I understand this is system breaking. Like it's really overwhelmed. When I was new here in 2001, I remember wondering how they kept it going so good. But you have to realize I'm an American. I was coming from nothing like this. We had nothing like this. And then I come here and you all can go to the doctor for every little pain. What? Not to mention you get sent off to fancy clinics to heal for 2 weeks. So in the beginning when I was new here and I started learning about this system, so impressed, so mind blown. But I also, as a business lady, had in my head the question mark, how is this sustainable? I didn't understand. And I fear that what I'm witnessing now, I've been in Germany since 2001, and as I film this, it's 2024. I feel like I chose to go disabled right as the system's collapsing. I freaking hope not. Oh, man. But all I can do is my best, right? That's what I'm doing. So yeah, today I went and saw a neurologist. I don't like neurologists, but I guess I'll keep this guy because every so often I get told I need to go to the neurologist. He also reminded me that I need to do another MRI. Every year I have to get an MRI on my head. Make sure the tumor hole's still empty. But I guess all in all, it was good to hear from this doctor that he doesn't see, for example, lesions. There's no actual damage reported on my cerebellum. I'm still saying this with a little bit of a cynical tone. I really am, but that's good to hear. It's just maybe I don't understand the data that one really sees in an MRI when he follows that with the same thing that my ear, nose, and throat doctor said that, perhaps because the tumor sat in there so long, it dented. I'm trying to translate. I spoke in German with him, but, it took up a space in there and it kind of left a space when it left, and that could be having this effect on me, that I walk around like a drunk lady. I guess we'll only find out if I do more sport, because German doctors prescribe sport, and I'm going to do sport, because in Germany, no matter what you have, you're going to do sport. You got the flu, you're going to do sport. You got bronchitis, you're going to do sport. You got vertigo, you're going to do sport. You got depression, you're going to do sport. You're pregnant? Oh, you're going to do double sport. Doctors in Germany love prescribing sport. Do sport. And I'm just freaking exhausted thinking about it right now. But I guess, okay, I got to get my act together. I have to find a place, hopefully nearby. Hopefully it'll have some sort of good effect. And, if it does, if there's anything to write home about, as they say, I'll make another Acoustic Neuroma update. And I'll add it to the Stupid Tumor playlist here on my channel. I'll put a link to that here at the end of this video. But yeah, that's where we are. 6 years out after Acoustic Neuroma got removed from the back of my head. Still dealing with balance issues. Still dealing with half of my face looking stupid. Still completely deaf in the left ear. Still a constant weird, loud, ringing noise just kind of going on in my head area. But doctors think that if I do more physical therapy, it'll train my brain to better be able to make up for the busted ass balance organ that was completely destroyed by this tumor in my left ear. So yeah, dear viewers, I'm gonna do more sport. I'm gonna do physical therapy. Let's see what happens. It can't get any worse, right? Unless I fall on the instructor and break my leg, but at least we'll have something to make a video about. You know what, I'm curious, if you've had a weird, bad experience, or even a great one with a neurologist, comment it down below. I'm just curious because I brought it up and I've been able to find other people. They're even the doctor, the bone doctor, the osteopathic doctor that I went to. When I said to him, what's wrong with neurologists generally? He looked at me and he was like, I don't know. So they've got a bit of a reputation. I don't know, maybe it's here in Germany. I don't know. What is up with neurologists? Why are they so different? Is it because they're like, they must be super smart, you know? Sometimes super smart, they can be lacking in social. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you're great wherever you are. I appreciate you supporting me. I appreciate you being here and watching this video today. I hope to be coming at you soon. But until that happens, do me a favor and be over there taking care of yourself.